So I have a new series that I want to start called How to Start a Business for Free. Let's go. So people often think that I had a lot of money to get everything started with my business to begin with, and often people will give me comments like, I would love to start a business, but I just don't have the money. And I'll often tell them, you don't need any, just get started. And they'll say, come on, you need a lot of investment to be able to get going with a business. And I'll say again, no you don't, just get started. And they say, come on, what can that look like? And I had one person in particular recently that said that to me, and I said, listen, I'm just gonna create a video and then I will show you how you could start a business for free. But actually my idea is that I want to first start off by sharing my story of how I started Purple Cow Agency for free, and then I want to talk about other types of businesses that you could start for free as well. So Purple Cow Agency in California got started in 2008. We just had our 15th birthday, April 2nd, so happy birthday to us. And when I got started, my life was quite a bit different. I had just gone through a very painful divorce, gave up the family house, gave the car to my ex, all of that kind of jazz, and literally was just starting over from the beginning. And in previous life, I had a very different career and things that I was doing, and so my whole resume just said everything about that. Pretty much almost the whole of my adult life. So I would show up to look for a job at this time and people would just look at me like, dude, you don't fit here. And so nobody would give me a job, and I had 4 sons, young sons at that time to feed. So I decided, hey, if nobody else will give me a job, I gotta still pay the bills. I'll give myself a job, and that is my motivation for starting Purple Cow in the beginning. So what I did at the very beginning is I just told people, hey, I'm starting a new business called, at that time, Purple Cow Websites, and if you or anyone you know needs a website, just let me know. So did I start that business for free? All right. In full transparency, not completely for free. I spent like $130 or $150 buying a business license, and that was literally it. Did I have to do that? Nah, I probably didn't. But I got started with my laptop and what I knew about website development, and that was that. So literally, it's an example of a business that I started for free, and I was just using some skills that I had to get things going. Now, these days, I have employees and an office and computers and software and so many other expenses that it definitely isn't free now, but I really just got started with what I had, which was nothing at that time in my life. And so that's the main advice that I would want to give to those wanting to start a business, is start with what you have. Do you have some capital? Great. Put that sparingly to things like marketing, sales, things that will help the company grow. Do you have a lot more capital? Great. Maybe you want to look at the type of things that you can do very well and maybe hire somebody that complements the skills that you don't have. But for those of us like myself starting Purple Cow at the beginning that have nothing, you just really need to think about how can you start as simply as possible. So for me with Purple Cow, I had zero training as a web developer, which is what we were offering. Now Purple Cow offers every kind of digital marketing and web development out there, but at the time I just used the skills that I had. I had a friend, Reba, that sat down for a couple hours one day and showed me a little bit about web development, and then I just kind of figured it out on my own from there. So I wasn't even that good of a web developer, even though I started a company that was focused on web development. So again, following that principle of starting with what I had, I started with the skills that I had, which meant at that time that I could create simple business websites. Sometimes people would ask for things that were just a bit over my skill level, and so I would work so hard to learn how to do this thing or that thing. After about 4 months into things, I was profitable, not making that much, but doing okay. And I knew that I was either going to have to go back to school to learn how to become a real web developer, or I was going to need to hire someone smarter than myself. At that time, I was living in California. It would have been very expensive to hire a web developer for me at that time. And so what I did is I looked online. I found a freelancer, Nguyen, that lived in Vietnam, and he was an amazing web developer, and we're still friends to this day. Nguyen, if you're watching, good to see ya. Nguyen basically helped me to grow my business to the next level. So I started off with nothing, just my laptop, what little skills that I had, and then I grew it to a point where Nguyen was someone that I could hire kind of on a project base. If when I got paid, he would get paid, and we worked well together at the first part of the business, and he really helped me to be able to take on more and more clients that needed more skills than I had. As time went on, I was able to open my first office in California. A bit more time, I was able to start growing with employees from California out of our office, and then we just grew to bigger locations, and then eventually opened up the office here in the Philippines in 2019, and on and on. So you could really see that at the very beginning, I started Purple Cow with nothing but a laptop and a business license, and I really just got going with the resources I had. As the business grew in profits, I reinvested those back as wisely as I could to the things that would help grow the business to the next level, and so on and so on. And I'm still doing the same thing to this day. As the company makes more money, I reinvest back into the things that the company needs at this particular time. So are you someone that wants to start a business? I'm telling you, there is basically always a way, as long as you're willing to think outside of the box. Maybe there's a particular type of business that you have in your head that you'd love to start and you don't know how to do it. If so, drop me a comment below, and I'll look at potentially doing a video on what that type of business is and how I would start that business for free. Feel free to reach out to me as well. I have a link to set appointments in the description, and to my email as well. Always feel free to reach out on Facebook as well. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and you can see how it's really possible to start a business for free. You just need the guts, be willing to take a bit of risk, and get going. As always, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Have a great day.